Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Yesterday's episode was all about Meta and Microsoft's earnings. And of course, the context through which we explored that was what it said about the market's expectations and thoughts around an AI bubble as we move into 2026. Interestingly, we got a set of news in the past 24 hours that almost serves as a complement to that to get a better view of the entire state of the AI race, looking at basically all of the big players. Some of it's expected and some of it's very unexpected. So let's look at some of the biggest stories defining the AI race as we head into the new month of February. First off, Apple, yes, Apple, has made an acquisition in the AI space. It is not Perplexity or any of the big ones that people have speculated on. Instead, it's a frankly mysterious company called xAI, the goal of whom seems to be understanding what a person wants without them having to speak. So let's talk about what this isn't. This is not a slam dunk get back into the LLM race acquisition of the type that people had been advocating for throughout 2025. You might remember that back at the beginning of last summer, I said that Apple should try to pay up and get Anthropic while they were still even in the realm of affordable, but at that time Anthropic was worth around $60 billion. The latest fundraising has it at $350 billion, so probably fairly outside of acquisition range. Anthropic, of course, has given no indication that they have any interest in doing anything than continuing to accumulate consumer and business devotion. And so that, I think, can safely be taken off the table. Now, there had been rumblings at various points that Apple had explored a deal like Perplexity. Apple SVP of Services Eddie Q in particular was a leading advocate of a Perplexity deal, although that didn't come to fruition either. Instead, what we have is the second largest acquisition in Apple's history. Their deal for Beats remains their largest at $3 billion, but according to the Financial Times, they are paying $2 billion for xAI. So what is xAI? xAI works on imaging and machine learning, using the technology to develop a system that can detect speech without audio. At the moment, their systems can enhance audio in noisy environments and detect whispered speech. However, the reporting noted that xAI holds a patent for optical sensors technology that can recognize and interpret facial skin micro-movements as speech. The patent describes the technology being built into headphones or glasses, and the speculation is that this technology could be used to enable silent communication with an AI assistant by simply mouthing words. Now, making the deal even more notable, xAI was acquired out of stealth without releasing a product. That said, the company does have an extremely strong pedigree. For CEO and co-founder Aviad Maisels, this is his second time being acquired by Apple. He previously founded PrimeSense, which developed the image recognition technology that powered Xbox Kinect and was repurposed for Apple's Face ID system. Tom Hulme, a venture investor at Google Ventures who led xAI's seed round, wrote that their technology could help us find out, quote, what happens when the computer finally disappears into our daily lives. Broadly speaking, I think there are two interpretations of this. The first is, when you combine this move with Apple's decision to partner with Google on foundation models that are going to power experiences like Siri, it feels like they're more or less, at least unless something radical changes, passing on the foundation model space. At the same time, one could view this move as Apple sticking to their core focus around hardware. Indeed, it's been a long time since Apple was truly a software-first company. The iPhone has become their core business, and their only notable AI success, to the extent that you can call it that, has been on the hardware side, with the M-series chips and the perpetual popular Mac Mini, which we'll talk about in a minute. So some wonder maybe Apple doesn't need an AI model, and they are in fact better off putting all their resources into winning the competition for AI devices. Now, yesterday also saw Apple report earnings with a blowout result. They recorded their largest quarter ever for iPhone sales with $85 billion in smartphone revenue. Mac sales and services revenue both came in below expectations, but top-line revenue still grew by 23%, which was a significant beat. Going back to those possible interpretations, the earnings really reinforce that Apple is in the iPhone business, and business is good. On the AI side, the company continues to be completely directionless, at least in terms of what they're telling us. TechCrunch summed it up with the headline, "Guys, I don't think Tim Cook knows how to monetize AI." Responding to a question about how Apple will turn AI bets into revenue, Cook said, "Well, let me just say that we're bringing intelligence to more of what people love, and we're integrating it across the operating system in a personal and private way. And I think that by doing so, it creates great value, and that opens up a range of opportunities across our products and services." Which even for a public market CEO is some impressive word salad. Then again, it does feel like it's not impossible that over the next year or two, Apple's strategy, whether intentional or not, is going to come into clearer view. Robert Scoble wrote, "This is an important purchase for Apple because later this year it will introduce a new kind of camera. In 2 years, everyone will have a camera, headphones, and glasses that all work together joined by the phone." This sort of echoes those recent comments from Mark Zuckerberg on his earnings call, where he said it's hard to imagine a world in several years where most glasses that people wear aren't AI glasses. The other topic of conversation around this was summed up by Village Global's Ben Casnocha, who wrote, Apple just did its second largest acquisition ever. One can imagine a world where Apple, feeling behind in AI, finally ramps up M&A and spends $10 to $20 billion buying AI startups over the next couple of years. That would be great for the venture ecosystem. So maybe the hanging back and letting it all happen will work for them. In the flurry last weekend around Claudebot, which is now known as OpenClaw, it didn't escape people's notice that one of the major beneficiaries was Apple, as dozens if not hundreds or even thousands of people took to Twitter to talk about how they had ordered a Mac Mini. Sharing a post of Google's Logan Kilpatrick sharing his Mac Mini order, investor Sam Lessin wrote, Apple's AI strategy remains undefeated. Next up, let's talk about Amazon. Broadly speaking, I would say that the perception of Amazon is at once similar and opposite to the perception of Apple when it comes to AI. Whereas many have felt Apple felt rudderless for having no AI strategy, to some, Amazon has felt rudderless for having every AI strategy. The most recent news is that the company is considering a $50 billion bet on OpenAI. Earlier in the week, we got reports that suggested that Amazon, Nvidia, and Microsoft were all in talks to invest in OpenAI to the tune of $60 billion between them. The rumors were that Amazon was probably in for $20 billion. At the time, the takeaway was mostly that OpenAI should have no problem hitting their $100 billion fundraising target. However, the Wall Street Journal is now reporting that Amazon is the lion's share of that number, which dramatically changes the implications. At OpenAI's rumored $830 billion valuation target, this investment, if it comes to fruition, would give Amazon a 6% stake. It would also represent around half of their capex spend for last year. Reports suggest that CEO Andy Jassy is holding negotiations directly with Sam Altman around the exact shape of the deal. An investment of this size could change Amazon's position in the AI race. They already put $8 billion into Anthropic in 2024, which is likely somewhere north of a 10% stake. By adding a sizable chunk of OpenAI, Amazon simply might not need to compete on frontier models. They could license or create a custom version to make AI Alexa and just focus on their core infrastructure business as their big AI bet. It looks kind of like Amazon is trying to construct a win-win-win scenario for themselves. If either OpenAI or Anthropic come out on top, Amazon wins. If both companies flounder, well, Amazon made a ton of money along the way selling them compute. At the same time, I certainly don't think it's clear that markets are seeing things in quite that light. Jason Luongo summed up the bull case when he wrote, "Guess who bought another Amazon leap today while everyone else was panicking? Everyone still thinks of Amazon as a retail company. Meanwhile, AWS is the backbone of AI infrastructure, in talks to invest $50 billion in OpenAI, owns 15% of Anthropic, and Claude is everywhere right now, 750,000 robots automating their warehouses, ads business quietly printing $50 billion, the most underrated AI stock in plain sight." At the same time, I certainly don't think that view is consensus in the markets yet. Now, part of that is that any sort of momentum narrative is confused by the fact that Amazon also this week announced that they were cutting 16,000 employees. This follows 14,000 layoffs from Amazon's corporate workforce back in October. On Wednesday, SVP of People Beth Galetti published a blog post confirming the layoffs were going ahead. She framed them as a continuation of the headcount reduction from October, stating that they will, quote, strengthen our organization by reducing layers, increasing ownership, and removing bureaucracy. Now, the post did say that this is it for the layoffs and Amazon is not going to get into a pattern of continuous downsizing. Between the two rounds, this is now a roughly 8% reduction in Amazon's 350,000 strong employee base. Although AI wasn't mentioned in either round of layoffs, it is certainly assumed to be a contributing factor. Back in June, CEO Andy Jassy sent a company-wide memo stating that he expected AI adoption would lead to a reduction in how many employees the company needed. Of course, even if the layoffs have nothing to do with AI, that's going to be the widespread perception. AI is even showing up in some of the reporting completely unsourced. That said, especially as we watch the political narratives that heat up in this US election year, an interesting wrinkle that I'm starting to see emerge is people calling out the AI job washing when actually there are other things to blame. Hanny Girgis wrote, Amazon says it will cut 16,000 more corporate jobs. At the same time, the company is expanding in India. They will call it AI efficiency or bureaucratic cuts. The optics are layoffs in the US, growth abroad, and more visa inflow. Emily Plum, meanwhile, is making it explicitly political. The new candidate for Congress in Texas made a long post about how this was not about AI and was, in fact, about outsourcing. He writes, "Well, this isn't exactly how I hoped my day would start. After 8 years, I just got laid off, as did 16,000 of my peers. But before anyone rushes in with explanations that make them feel better, let me be clear about what this wasn't. It wasn't performance, and it wasn't AI. It wasn't location, versatility, or impact. I was in L7. I led global AI enablement. I built systems executives depended on, moved wherever the company needed me, and fixed problems that had been sitting untouched because no one else could untangle them. And I was still cut." He argues that, in his words, in the US right now, experience isn't an asset, it's a liability. and that this is, quote, enabled by a global labor market with almost no guardrails. When replacement is cheaper than retention, he writes, the decision gets framed as strategy instead of consequence. AI, he writes, becomes the excuse, not the cause. It is way beyond the scope of this particular show to get into all that, but it's interesting to see outsourcing, not AI, emerge as the real political bugaboo. Interestingly, we had one other example this week of a company doing really well and yet still cutting jobs. ASML, who builds chip-making equipment, posted record quarterly orders, increased projected sales by a few $1 billion, and still said that it was planning to slash about 1,700 jobs in tech and IT. This phenomenon of companies growing but still downsizing is something that I think we're going to need to watch this year. Still, moving on to our next story in the AI race, we also got some reporting around IPO plans. If you listen to my 2026 predictions, you'll have heard that my base prediction was that neither Anthropic or OpenAI would ultimately decide to go public this year. The reason being that I thought that private capital markets were going to remain strong and that being public came with headaches that the companies just wouldn't want. One of the big factors that I thought could change that was OpenAI wanting to get out ahead of Anthropic. I said in that episode that I thought it was less likely that Anthropic would worry all that much about that, but that I could definitely see OpenAI trying to be the first to go. The Wall Street Journal reports that that is exactly what's happening. According to their reporting, OpenAI has pushed up plans to go public and are now targeting the fourth quarter. They are reportedly taking informal meetings with investment banks and have hired a chief accounting officer and corporate business finance officer to handle investor relations and financial reporting. Specifically, this reporting suggests that there's been a new sense of urgency. Writes the Journal, OpenAI executives have privately expressed concerns about Anthropic beating the company to an IPO. Anthropic has also reportedly told investment bankers that they're open to an IPO by the end of the year as well. Now, the Wall Street Journal presented the obvious cause for concern, pointing out that whoever goes first out of Anthropic, OpenAI, and SpaceX, which, by the way, is our last story in just a second, will gather a huge amount of investor interest, and they speculate that there may not be enough to go around. And even if there is enough to go around, I can see why OpenAI is concerned, and why this isn't just a vanity thing. Let's game this out. If Anthropic goes first, what are the possible outcomes? Let's say that their IPO is a rousing success. Investors pile in, and Anthropic commands the market's attention for months. In fact, it might even be confirmation of an ascendant Anthropic narrative that is taking hold right now in a big way. OpenAI would then still be able to go public, but they'd have to wrestle that narrative and investment dollars away from that competitor who's got a lot of momentum. What about on the other end of the spectrum? What happens if the IPO is a flop? And in fact, it's the event that pops the bubble that so many insist the market is in. In that case, the IPO window slams shut, and OpenAI is forced to either launch into a bear market or raise another $100 billion from private investors who either A, might not have that appetite, or B, are looking at an actual valuation markdown. The point is that both scenarios make OpenAI's IPO much harder than it needs to be. So I can see the logic in trying to get out first. Now, FinTwit on this point is absolutely useless, with every little bit of news around an OpenAI IPO being basically nothing more than a Rorschach test for how you feel about Sam Altman. I would say, if anything, FinTwit has decided that it will be a major bust, which is why Analytics is taking the opposite side of the argument, writing FinTwit has already decided the OpenAI IPO is dead on arrival if it happens at all. This means it's not even close to dead, exceeding expectations by a wide margin. Peter Turek sums up, the fate of OpenAI IPO this year is going to tell us a lot about where we are in the AI tech bull market. Which brings us to our last story. Elon Musk is apparently considering plans to consolidate his corporate empire. Earlier this week, Tesla announced that they'd made a $2 billion investment in xAI, ignoring a failed shareholder vote. It now seems that Musk's plan is to go much further. Reuters is reporting that SpaceX and xAI are in talks to merge. And while the plan is reportedly in an early stage, new holding companies were established last week to facilitate the deal. SpaceX is believed to be considering an IPO over the summer, so this move could result in xAI going public on an accelerated schedule. Later in the day, Bloomberg reported that SpaceX is also considering a merger with Tesla, with the deal being reported as an alternative to the xAI merger. Now, Musk has frequently discussed the logic behind consolidating his companies into a tech conglomerate in order to share resources. And honestly, holding aside feelings about Musk, if he wants to build products that intersect AI space in the physical world, then it would make a lot of sense to combine the companies rather than deal with the friction of deal-making between them. The Optimus robots are an obvious early project where xAI's research team might be needed to build the AI models that drive the robots. Writes Bloomberg, Musk has also discussed using SpaceX's Starship rockets to carry Tesla's Optimus robots to the moon as well as to Mars. xAI could benefit enormously from computing capacity provided by SpaceX's data centers in orbit if the company can make the engineering work. Mostly the reaction to this one has been, well, yeah, of course that's what he's doing. Deva Hazarika writes, Anyone surprised by this in the slightest simply hasn't followed or paid attention to Elon's empire building. It's all just a part of Elon Inc. Signal, meanwhile, pointed out just how wild this ride is. They wrote, LMAO, wait, hold up, everyone. So xAI investors will get liquidity before OpenAI and Anthropic investors? That outcome is genuinely insane. Even more insane is that the investors who backed Elon during the Twitter buyout are now sitting on a ridiculous trade. Twitter equity effectively morphed into xAI exposure, which now has a clear path into SpaceX. Remember when people framed Twitter as a catastrophically bad investment? Turns out it was a control layer bet with insane optionality. Every single one of those anti-Twitter buy takes and making fun of Elon are aging extremely poorly. When you make investments, the pathway to success rarely, if ever, looks clean. Extremely well stated, and that is where we will end. TLDR, in January of 2026, the AI race got even crazier than it's ever been. For now, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Appreciate you listening or watching, as always, and until next time, peace